Hello and welcome to another fishing show with your host Scott. Today we're fishing a man-made reservoir called Nant y Moch. It's 615 acres and it's situated in West Wales, not too far from Aberystwyth. And it is populated by mainly wild brown trout on the whole, going to about 12 or 13 inches at most. But it's fantastic sport, and we're going to be using traditional wet flies and traditional dry flies, and a few other traditional techniques to see what we can pick up here. So wish me luck guys, and hopefully you'll get some action. Okay then guys, this is Nant y Moch, and it is an absolutely stunning man-made reservoir right up in the mountains, and as you can see it's also a stunning day. Conditions are perfect. I've got the wind coming over my left shoulder, there's fish rising out in front of me. So let's go over the setup here. I'm currently using an Airflow DC2 9'6", 6 to 7 weight with a still water weight forward 7 weight floater. On the point I've got it's a bit of a special, that one. There's a pen of garrig but with a tungsten bead. You haven't seen me tie one of those yet. On the middle dropper we've got a black and red holographic spider, and on the top dropper another fly you haven't seen me tie yet, a silver bibio. Both of the droppers are size 14 and the point flies are size 10. There's fish rising literally everywhere in front of me, so I think if I don't get a pull I'm definitely doing something wrong. So normally what I do, because of these sharp rocks here, I actually get in the water. So I've got some quite tall wellies, and that just keeps the line out of the gravel. Try and get my line started here. There's not really much to lock style fishing reservoirs. Cast it out as far as you can and retrieve again. Hang on. Better. Cast it out as far as you can and retrieve again. That's all there is to it really. I normally let the flies settle for a few seconds before I retrieve. It is a Sunday, so it's probably going to be a bit busier up here than usual. It's a straightforward retrieve at the moment. We'll just see what it is they want. All of my flies are black. The only things I've seen hatching off are little black midges, so that's what we're going for. Later on today we might try the dry fly. Most of the action seems to be to my right, so we might move down there in a bit as well. I'm only here because this is where the water's deeper. It actually gets quite shallow over there. Yeah, there's a lot of fish moving over there. I have seen the odd one close in here though as well, so. It creates a nice wake, that pen of garrig does. I wish I'd tied them on a size 12 now. Never mind, they'll still work I reckon. That's the dam over there. I'm not sure when it was built. That was a very, very large fish. I didn't realise there was trout in here that big. That was a good 4 or 5 pounder. They're head and tailed as well, so they're on the midges. It's going from my right to left, so I'm going to cast to my left now, see if we can intercept him. So, I'll start where I started off. I was talking about the dam. The dam has been here, I think, since the 60s. It's part of a massive hydroelectric scheme that powers most of West Wales. The main feeder river is called the Rheidol, which flows out to Aberystwyth. There's quite a few lakes in the chain. I think this is one of the top lakes. Basically they loose water out of the dam and generate power as it goes down the hill towards Aberystwyth. The next large lake down is called Dinas, and that's stocked with rainbow trout, and I will be filming there at some point. There you go, you get an idea of what the place is like and what it's about. Yeah, seeing that fish come up was like seeing the Loch Ness Monster. We first found this place in May 2025. There should be a post on the channel describing the session. We had 13 trout between me and Ken, and considering this place isn't stocked, I don't think that was too bad. We wasn't expecting to catch any. We just came here for the peace and quiet more than anything else. Yeah, creates a nice wake, that fly does. I think that's something I'll see it. Oh, that was a pull. picked up one of the droppers, he did. Are they still on? Damn it. It's a nice cast. I think I've found the retrieve. Fish. He's took the penny-garrig, he has. I'll have to tie one of them up for the channel then. And there we have quite a few ounces of wild brown trout. Hooked in the scissors nicely. Oh, he's going to get away again. Oh, no, he's gone. Oh, has he? Oh well, I made a mess of that, but never mind. He's gone back fairly safely. Hopefully you guys saw him. He's made a complete mess of my fly. That's a shame. Hackles come undone and everything. Oh dear. Oh well, right, I'll have to change that then. So we've switched to a Zulu. Because the fly that caught a fish unfortunately fell apart. The rib broke, got stuck under a tooth. Fortunately it can happen. I think it might be worth a walk 50 yards that way. Oh, I just saw a flash then. That was a fish following that fly. I've got Polaroids on, so you guys probably didn't see it, but I am getting a polarising filter for the camera, so you might be able to see better than me. Yeah, there's definitely some weather coming in. The problem with fishing up in the mountains, weather changes quick. Okay, welcome back. So we've had a little bit of a break. Put some more clothes on because it's gotten very, very chilly here. There's a new weather front coming in, I think. And unfortunately, it seems to put the fish down a bit because I haven't fed, or at least I haven't seen one feed for the entire time I've been having my lunch for. And for the few minutes preceding, I've been having some serious problems with my casting. I keep getting tangled up. So the point fly might be changing soon. I think the leader might be unbalanced. Either that or the droppers are too long. But we'll work it out. Now I've got a bit of a conundrum really. The fly that I caught the fish on is no more. And I haven't got another one like it. So I've put a Zulu on, which is probably similar in density. So there's a brass bead that's on it, because I need to get down. Because it's obvious the fish have gone a little deeper. So we shall see. I might have to change my plans. I might put a team of just normal unweighted wet flies on and fish with a poly leader. I'll try that. But we'll come to that. We'll come to that when we get to it. I'm just easing the line out there because I'm sick of it tangling up. The wind's picked up as well. It's coming from my left, which is what's been forecast. It's only about 4 or 5 miles an hour, but it's enough. Now these trout seem to do the opposite up here from what I've seen. As soon as the sun comes out they start feeding. As soon as the sun goes in and it goes a bit cold they go down. It's normally the other way around. I think it might be because it's early season and the water's still quite cold. We've had 2 bites and 1 fish. It's probably the same fish, if I'm honest. I was hoping for some dry fly action. You may get that later on in the year. So come May, June, July, we'll have the cockabondies on the go. And it's good sport. Ken absolutely loves it up here when that starts. And about the same time, County of Ceredigion will fish the same way pretty much. We might be going to a new reservoir soon. The fly I was using earlier on is called Pennegarrig, and that lake's only down the road. It's in the Eland Valley. I say down the road, it's 30 miles, it's 3 Welsh miles. And it's probably a bit closer as the crow flies. And we fancy giving that a go. The wind's blowing in my face now, believe it or not. Weird weather up here. I've had it from every direction this morning. There's one thing we noted when me and Ken fished it, was he didn't have to cast very far to them early in the season. That's a nasty gust in my face. Conditions are definitely changing. That's tangled. No. Just cast along this bank. It's completely switched 180 the wind. We've even got some waves lapping in here now. Last autumn, and one of the last sessions we fished it before we stopped coming up here for the winter, Ken actually had some perch, which was interesting. Caught them on the butcher. That's a full-on easterly that is just coming in now. Alright, mare today. And the wind switched back around to the northwest now. Or for at least it's coming from my left. Which makes things a little bit easier. I think it might be worth a walk down there. Sun's coming out. Weird weather up here. That's mountain weather for you. So we're going to go have a walk down past this rocky bit. There's a rock sticking out there. We'll go and fish by that. I've seen a lot of activity down there, so just getting there without breaking your neck. As well, I've seen a lot of activity from fish, so hopefully we'll get a few. come up there. And there. And there. Here we go. I'm going to have to get this one tangled pretty sharpish. I came up here for some peace and quiet and then having a full-on row. The hills are alive with the sound of a domestic. Try a slower retrieve. See if we can tempt one of these fish. I'm definitely using the right flies. You can probably see them buzzing around my camera. That's what the black magic represents, one of them. And the red, black and red holographic as well. They're both spider patterns. I might actually put a larger one on the point. And grease the leader up. See how we do doing that. Right, I think I'm going to set up the 5-weight with either a team of spiders or a beetle and a spider. And see how we get on with them. And change the battery in the camera. Next time you see me, hopefully we'll be doing a bit of dry fly fishing. Okay, we're all set. So I've put a new leader on. I was going to set up another rod, but I've changed my mind. We're just going to go with the 7-weight. On the point, we've got a foam black beetle, and on the dropper, we've got a black magic spider. It's a 10-foot, 5-pound mono leader, which we're going to grease up in a minute. And we're going to fish this slick here that's formed. There's been a lot of activity in there, so we'll give it a go. There's a lot of activity up here today. There's nowhere in the UK you can really call wilderness, but this is the closest you can get to it, unless you go to Scotland. There is a nice little river inlet further down, which we might be able to get into if we've got time. I wonder if that's what I'm after. Them worry about greasing the leader up in a second. Let's see if we can get a fly out to him. There's plenty of little midges and gnats coming up, so we're definitely doing something right as far as fly choice is concerned. I'll grease it up first. Now I'm hoping with just the two flies I'll get into less tangles. So if I do decide to switch to a sinking fly or a set of sinking flies, I'll just fish with the two. So a lot of trout fishermen try to sink their leaders on the opposite, especially the way I'm fishing. I've got a wet fly as a dropper. So, and I want to keep the dropper up in the water. So we're going to use this stuff here. Good old product, originates from very close to where I'm originally from. I literally grease the whole thing up. Including the end of your line. And I find that just seems to work for me, I don't know why. Like I say, a lot of trout fishermen like to sink their leaders when they're dry fly fishing. I'm completely the opposite. And I've never really had a problem. If that fish wants that fly bad enough, it'll have it. This is how I normally fish it later on in the season, but I'll have a brown beetle or a cockabondi, as it's known as well. Because it's foam, you can drag it across the water and it won't sink. As with a traditional dry flight, you might sink it fishing it like that. Oh, there's a fish right next to me there. Hopefully he's still in the area. So you don't have to cast very far from here. I've got a few other ideas up my sleeve if they don't like that beetle. I'm sticking with the midge though. This is the box I tied for this lake. Mostly traditional wet flies, but there is the odd dry fly. Now that's a contender, a balloon caddis. They're not caddis that I'm coming off, but I might just use it as a general imitation of something emerging. If the weather stays like this, it's going to be worth staying. I was sort of deciding whether to go earlier and give it neck, especially when that cold weather came in with an easterly breeze behind it. It just completely switched off here. Oh, fish. Only a baby one that. Cool. I'm happy for him that. I can barely keep the line tight on him, he's that small. I just took the black beetle. I knew that was a good idea. There he is. A few ounces of wild mountain trout. A lovely little fish. It is worth travelling an hour and a half to fish for them. I know a lot of people think, well, they're too small, they're not worth the bother. They are the ultimate quarry in the United Kingdom, in my opinion. Wild brown trout. Absolutely love fishing for them, especially in settings like this. Just check my leader because it landed in a heap. Yeah, it's worth having just the 2 flies, to be honest. I didn't even see that take, it was that small, that fish. I just saw the line tighten up. I'm just basically fishing the beetle like it's a popper. I'll show you the pattern in a second properly. I have tied it on the channel, but nobody watched it, if I'm honest. Okay, it's a massive disturbance in the water, you should be able to see that now. And that attracts the fish. So normally how I fish dry flies on Nant y Moch is I'll fish, I don't know, a minute to 2 minutes dead drift and just leave them sat there. And then I'll start retrieving and fishing the beetle. So there you're giving the both flies a chance to fish properly. What a cast. Now those of you who have watched the video to the point where I've managed to catch a couple, you'll notice that the fish are quite skinny. There's not a lot of food in these upland lakes for them. Occasionally you'll get what we call an outlier or an anomalous result, as you call it in science. I did a marine biology degree just down the road actually in Aberystwyth. And I learnt a bit about ferox trout. What happens with the ferox trout is very early on in its lifespan it'll decide that it wants to eat fish rather than midges and other terrestrial insects, and it'll get to the point where it's that big compared to the rest of the other population that it's what we call an outlier. And I reckon there's a very good chance there's one of them in here. But I think to have a chance of hooking one, you've got to be out in the middle of the lake trolling, which isn't allowed. So they don't come out very often. In fact, I don't think I've ever heard of one coming out of here. I have heard of one coming out of Lake Bala. If you get a decent one out approaching a pound, they like to jump in here as well, which is spectacular. It's one of the reasons I've decided to try and film it. That little one did jump. I think he sort of helped out the water by me though. He's busy up here with vans going up and down. I don't know what they're doing. Oh, there's a fish. Hopefully you'll see that and come back up again. It's really odd. Most people say when the sun's out the fish go deep. It seems to be the opposite up here. Now, even though I'm less than a rod length out, I'm still fishing the flies because they do come very close in. There's a fish. Got him. See what I mean about them jumping? Now, I was going to use the net, but I think I'm going to bother. He's a lovely looking fish, that one. There we are. He's about 8 or 9 inches. I'll put him slipping back nice and gently. There we go. That was better than the first one, wasn't it? I was a bit out of practice, to be honest with you, with the first one. I hadn't caught a fish in that long. I didn't know what to do with it. That was the one we saw rise, pretty sure of it. A couple of twitches and he got it. Took the beetle again, absolutely superb. Really happy with that. At least you guys have got something to watch now. There's a fish really far out over there though. Fishing for wild brown trout with a dry fly. This is the ultimate. I'd rather do this than fish for £4 rainbows all day. I've ate my fair share of fish, I'm not that bothered about eating them anymore either. Yeah, it did land in a heap, I thought so. Oh, it's not too bad. Getting less tangles and more fish, that's what we've come for. It would have been better sport on the 5-weight, but I wouldn't have been able to get the flies out as far with the 5-weight either. So. It's turned into a good day. Just 2 sharp tugs, that's all you need to do, and then leave it. 2 sharp tugs. You can hear it popping from here. There's not many trout out there, even though there's no beetles on the water at all. You might wonder why I've put that on. There's no beetles on the water at all, but there's not many fish that can refuse the way it's presented and the action it's got. So the fly itself is literally just a shell back of foam with peacock herl and a hackle. And as you can see, I've left the foam long by the eye of the hook, and that creates the disturbance, and they just find it irresistible. Plus fact, I've mentioned earlier, there's not a lot of food in here, so if they see a big juicy beetle, they're not really going to turn it down. One comes to my right. And the black magic is floating as well quite nicely. Because the leader's been greased up. It's how you can turn a wet fly well, a spider into a dry fly basically. With the addition of a bit of grease. Later on in the year there'll be more geese than what there is at the moment. As it warms up they start arriving. Some of them stay here all year round. Oh, I think a fish just swirled at it then. I'll cast down the bank. I mean, that third fish wasn't very far out at all. Oh, got him. He's still on. He's swimming towards me very fast. He's took the black magic, I think. Oh, got two on. You wouldn't believe it if it wasn't on camera. Look at that. I don't know what to do here. It's like mackerel fishing. There's one. I think the second one's a little bit bigger. And there's two. No camera tricks there, folks. You saw it happen. I think I've hit the mother load here now with this setup. Two at a time. Put that one in your pipe. Let's get back out there. It's just switched on. I don't know what's going on. It's either the setup or it's just switched on. Oh, fish come up over there. I've lost count now. How many have I had? I think it's 5. I am surprised how many times I've done that here actually. I think that's the 3rd or maybe even the 4th time I've caught 2 in a row. But obviously it's the first time I've caught it on camera. They must be really, really hungry in here. That's all I'm going to say really. I've only ever done it about 6 times in my entire fly fishing career. We used to fish a lake up in the mountains called Llanclad Wallador, near Llansilin, and it went over to a syndicate so we couldn't fish it anymore, but it was a beautiful lake. It was well stocked with rainbows, blues and wild browns. The wild browns got in out of the stream, and the one day I hooked 2 blue trout on buzzers. That was absolutely balmy. I only landed 1 out of the 2. One went one way, the other one went the other and snapped the leader below the knot. Sun's going in now. That might be the end of it. Wind's picking up, sun's gone in. The wind's blowing from the southwest now. It's been balmy today, the weather. We've had wind from all directions. We've had all 4 seasons in a day. That's typical spring, especially up here. I have thought about getting a float tube in this place. It's not something I'd want to do on my own, completely alone. Oh, there we go, that's a fish. He's took that on the dead drift. He's swimming towards me at the rate of knots. Took the beetle again. Oh, I love catching these little... No, he hasn't. He's took the black magic spider. Absolutely deadly, that fly is. Took the size 14 spider. There he is, got the colours on him. Still got his paw marks, that one. He's playing up for the camera, that one. There he goes. Ah. Now, overall, I'm having a good time. Right, that one was against the odds. It came out of nowhere. because it's in weather I wasn't expecting to get a dry fly rise. I think that's tangled up again. Okay, tangles out. The weather has changed significantly again. I don't know whether I'm going to get any more today. But we'll see. I'll give it till 2:30 and we'll call it a day. And last cast. It's a good one as well. So I think I've caught 7. I have actually lost count. And they've only been small, but they're wild brown trout. This lake isn't stocked. They're all wild fish. A very worthwhile quarry in my opinion. If you can deceive these fish, you can deceive anything. It's a great place to come and test your fly tying skills basically. They seem to prefer small imitative patterns, such as midges for example. I've done really well. I'm really pleased, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching it too. There's one thing for sure, they didn't like the Zulu today. Now, we fished it in May 2025 and did really well with the Zulu. That's why my box is full of them. Right, so I'm going to chuck it out. And then reel straight back in. I like to do that. If you've got any twist in your line when it's on the ground, you transmit that twist into the reel. Whereas if it's all out, you're less likely to get twists, and it'll be a more even tension as well. I have had fish take when I've been doing this as well. Sometimes it's the difference between a blank and going home with a fish. So there we are. The black magic has done the magic, and the black foam beetle has absolutely smashed it as well. Really pleased with that. Really nice session. So we'll go and pack up. Well, that's it. What a fantastic session I've had here on Nant y Moch, West Wales, fishing for wild brown trout. Most of the sport has come from the surface, can you believe it or not? And I've even caught 2 in one cast. I cannot believe it. What a fantastic session I've had here. So that's me signing off. Thank you all very much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.